start us off with a quick opening statement. Please raise your hands for questions. Coach?
All right. Yeah, first of all, just going back to Saturday, I'm obviously, talk about the crowd first. I thought it was a great crowd. Really looked good, man. All that white out there for our team and the people in the stands. So great atmosphere. Obviously, we want to have a great one again this weekend against Northwestern State. So I appreciate everybody that came out to that and yelled and screamed, and that was obviously helpful for us. I thought, going back to the game, I thought, came out really good to begin of the game and jumped up 21 points, which was great. We were explosive on offense. Defense was playing solid. Went to halftime, and I think, came out in the second half and things were going good up until the fumble. And I think, obviously, turning the football over is unacceptable for us. Cannot do it. We turned the ball over right there. We felt like right there we're up 24-3. We turned the ball over. Man, they hadn't really slowed us down. We're gonna go score. It'll be 31-3, and then probably the game's over at that point. But we didn't. And then 3 plays later, they score on a 31-yard touchdown pass down the sideline with miscommunication in the back end. Again, that's unacceptable. One of the bigger plays we've given up in the 2 games we've played defensively. And now, now they're back in the game. And at that point, it's kind of some back and forth. And you end up getting a win, which is great. But it left a bad taste in everybody's mouth because we have a standard we want to play to, and we did not play to that standard in the second half. And obviously we did some things good, but things we got to get better at. Turnover margin, we lost it again. That's got to change. Certainly as we get closer to a Big 12 play, we know that. And penalties, defensively, offensively we were pretty good. We had 1 penalty on offense this past week, but we had 4 on defense, and including the first play of the game where we got our hands on a face mask and just leave it on there. Had a couple PI calls against us. I mean, these are drive extenders. They're getting first downs. We talk about, we didn't run many plays on offense. Well, if we're allowing them to continue to drive the ball, we're not going to get the ball back. I think we ran 53 plays in the game, and a couple of those are kneel downs. I mean, that's just not very many opportunities for offensive plays to be able to run your offense. And I think we had 60 plays in the first game, and roughly upper 40s in this game. That's just not a lot of plays offensively. I think offensively our numbers are good. I mean, we're averaging probably 6.7 or 8 yards per play. That's pretty good. We're just not getting enough opportunities for that offensively. So I think special team wise, a solid day again. Fletch hit a couple bombs, punts, which is flipped the field, which is awesome. Knocked down, field goal. Stephen did a great job again. We let 1 return get out. That was the negative in the teams, but they were very solid again. So there are a lot of things to continue to work on to get better. That's our focus this week, to continue to get better, to play at our standard. We're playing a Northwestern State team that's coming in here, FCS team that is trying to rebuild the program back up. They went 2 years, didn't win a game, and then they start this season with a big win for them. So obviously they're on the right track. I think they're playing a lot of young players right now. Ran into a tough situation last week and kind of snowballed early on them. Obviously then it gets out of hand. But again, you can see the fight in this team. This team's different this year compared to last year. The kids are playing a lot harder, and you just can see that on film. So, but again, it's about us. It's about our standard, how we need to play, and what kind of focus can we have this week and how hard can we practice. I think that's what it comes down to.
Questions for Coach?
How tough of a game is this to coach? Because it's a game where you're going to be favored by a ton. You'd like to get some guys in. And it's almost like you can't win. I mean, if you don't beat them by 50, some people are going to be mad.
People are going to be mad anyway, Scott. I mean, it doesn't matter. Again, for me, it's about our standard of how we get out, like practice this week. How are our guys going to prepare? They did a great job last week in the preparation. They really, they got after it. And we got to do that again this week. And then we got to go out and play as hard and clean as we possibly can in this game. To me, that's what the focus is, and it's not really about Northwestern State. Really, it's about us and how we go out and perform, and how much focus do we have. You got to attack these games every time you get out there, and that's the way we should practice today. The same way with that same attacking mentality. I think if you do that, then the results will take care of itself. If you don't, then the results, we'll see that as well. So we're all about getting after today in practice, and that'll carry into Saturday.
Any update on Dante Logan?
Yeah, Dante, the lower half injury there was probably going to be out for a couple weeks, and then it'll be week to week. I mean, for us, Northwestern State, then a bye week. We'll see how he's feeling by the Kansas week. So I think certainly we'll miss this game, but there's optimism that he'll be back. Here in the next few weeks, and so we'll see where we're at with that. Logan will be back this week. He was a 50-50 guy Saturday. Could he go or not? It was close. Ended up not going, which is positive for a Daniel James guy like that to get a lot of reps. I think he maybe had 56 reps in the game, so that was good to get him his first start and to let him get some good reps out there and play solid. But yeah, to get Logan back, obviously helps us, gives more depth there at the corner position.
Defense played solid on Saturday. But, just I don't know if you guys know, no takeaways. How important is it against the Northwestern State team to get a few takeaways?
Oh, I mean, it's important that every week we try to, we need to get some turnovers. I mean, sometimes the ball bounces your way, sometimes it doesn't. We fumble the ball and it, kind of goes around and they end up picking it up. They had the very similar fumble, and it was like a basketball. It hit the ground and came right back to them. I mean, same thing in the Nebraska game. It's just we got to continue to hit the ball and knock the ball out, and then somehow we got to get some interceptions. We've been dry when it comes to interceptions. I thought we had potentially 2 opportunities Saturday to get some interceptions. Trey had one on our sideline. He kind of tipped it up to himself and almost had that one. And then Christian Harrison had one down at the goal line. Now, unfortunately, they called a PI on him on that particular play, which is a close call. But he's right there with a hand on the ball. So we got to create those. I thought we did a pretty good job with the pressure. I mean, how many sacks? 4 or 5 sacks that our defense had Saturday. Golday was in the backfield a lot, and they were throwing it quick. Just a little bit more coverage right there. We're going to get several more sacks. And I think when you're doing that, that's when you're going to create those turnovers. When you're pressuring the quarterback to throw it earlier than he really wants to. And so, again, we've got to continue to work on that. That's a big emphasis for us, is to try to get some turnovers.
Scott, how concerning is it for you, time of possession difference of about 20 minutes against Nebraska and 15 against Bowling Green? Knowing Dante's going to be out for a few weeks, how important is it for you guys to make sure your defense isn't on the field for too long during the games?
Yeah, I mean, that's certainly would like to get off the field. I think, and you guys know our style of defense, it's a little bend but don't break. So you are going to give up some yards at times. But I did think, the 4 penalties extended their drives, gave them first downs. We not created any turnovers in the first 2 weeks. I mean, so those factors are why I think we didn't have any time of possession in the last 2 weeks, and therefore not running as many offensive plays. And I really think we got to do a better job of creating turnovers, getting off the field on 3rd down, which will help that time of possession and then really balance out the number of plays.
You rotated a lot of D linemen in anyway. Who would be the next man up for Dante?
Yeah, I mean, Kamari Burns, Isaiah Rogers, a couple of guys. I mean, Hunt's another guy that plays on the edge but also can play at the nose. Again, you mentioned that we rotate a lot of guys up front. We want to keep those guys fresh, and we'll continue to do that. Again, whoever rises up in practice will maybe get more opportunity. I see it as an opportunity for maybe some other guys to get some more reps, and hopefully they go out and make some more plays for us. I do also want to mention Drew Logan. He got hurt and will miss the rest of the season. It was ACL injury.
You talked about the rotation on the offensive line. It seemed like those were King things are more even when Ethan Green played significantly more snaps than Buford. Could we see a change at right tackle going into Saturday?
I don't necessarily think a change, but I do think we wanted to get Greeny in. I mean, I think he's practiced well throughout the spring, summer. It was a great opportunity for him to get in there, and I thought he played well, in the game. Buford had a false start penalty, and then we put Greeny in. He played good and played the rest of the game. So it's always great to have depth. I think we got to continue to play several guys at the offensive line, because you'd love to play, at least 8 guys there as you get to the meat of the season. We know there's going to be some injuries. You got to be able to rotate some guys in there. So we'll continue to do that.
Armani's first game back after the injury. What did you think of his play? Obviously, not the ideal situation for his return with Logan being out, but what did you just think of his return?
Yeah, I thought we got some good reps out of him as well. So that was kind of to get him back was good in this case because Logan was out. To be able to have him be able to come out there and play, and again, if somebody's out, and somebody's getting an opportunity. So for Armani to get out there, I thought he played solid as well with Daniel James. Kyle Stokes had a couple reps. And then I thought McDoon played really good. Man, he had some good tackles out there. I thought he played a very good game as well. So again, just trying to create some depth right there when they get their opportunities, make the most of it.
Do you, Scott, feel any pressure personally when you see Alabama put up 73 or Florida State 77 against FCS schools? Do you feel pressure personally for your team to put up that many points against a team like you're playing on Saturday?
No, I don't worry about that. I just want guys to play at a high level, and if we're doing that, then it'll take care of itself. I think you can certainly look at. Kansas State played South Dakota and had to score on the last drive to win the game. So there's a lot of different examples of teams struggling against an FCS and or Group of Five. I think it's just a matter of how focused, how hard you go out and play, and how well you execute. If you do that, then it should take care of itself. And I think that's what Minnesota was a great example of that last week. Minnesota got after it. I thought in all phases. I think I looked at it one time. And Northwestern State had run 16 plays and had -9 yards their first 16 plays. I mean, that defense is getting after it. And I think you have to be able to play like that. That's the level that you're playing at, and good things are going to happen for you.
All right, here's his running back question.
All right, waiting on it.
No, I mean, ideally, this would be the week to get all those guys in there, and it goes, okay, you guys get some pretty valuable experience.
Yeah, I mean, I thought when it comes to the running back position, we were disappointed in the whole room Saturday, quite honestly. We didn't break many tackles. It was, I think we counted there were 7 opportunities where it's one-on-one with you and the guy that potentially going to be really big plays, and they get us down. I mean, we got to be able to run through those tackles and get some big plays in the running game. And I don't care who it is. I do think all these guys in our running back room have talent. They have a good ability. But they got to show it and prove it on the field. And you got to go out and make plays. You got to break tackles. And these guys know that. I mean, Pryor knows that. I mean, he's got to make the catch against Nebraska there in the flat. That would have probably been a touchdown. He knows that. He's got to hold on to the football. Tyree knows he's got to be able to break some tackles, a one-on-one with a safety. I mean, so those are the things we got to get better at in the running back room. And when you do get an opportunity, you have to make the most of it. I think Chance comes in, and he had a couple opportunities on some runs, and didn't hit it where he needed to hit it. I mean, that could have been a big play. So when you get your opportunity, make the most of it, and obviously then you will get more opportunities and more carries.
It seemed like at times the defense wasn't tackling as well as they did against Nebraska.
Yeah.
What do you attribute that to? Was it pursuit angles, lack of effort?
I just you're right. Exactly. We're sitting there watching on Saturday. I witnessed some of that, and I think it was 13 or 14 missed tackles on defense, and you obviously got to do much better than that. I think some of it was just not bringing your feet. We're leaving our feet too early, and you start lunging, these guys are going to break the tackles. I mean, you got to bring your feet all the way through and run through the ball carrier. We certainly got to get better at that. You're right. We did a much better job in Nebraska compared to this one, and then also in the penalties. I mean, those missed tackles and penalties led to those first downs, which led to them keeping the ball for most of the game. And you knock some of those tackles down, then we're going to get off the field. And so certainly got to go back and continue to run our feet, and bring our feet, and fundamentals really what it comes down to.
To piggyback off earlier question, last week you had 7 linemen play on a perfect world. You see yourself being able to get a couple more guys in this week?
Yeah, you'd love to be able to play some more guys. I think again, 7, 8 guys that you'd like to be able to rotate in and keep the guys fresh. It's a long season. Those guys that are putting their hand in the dirt, man, they get dinged up. They get bruised, they get knees, ankles, shoulders, and the more you can keep them fresh, obviously the more longevity they'll have throughout the season. So yeah, if we can rotate some more guys in, that'd be great. Obviously we'll see how the game goes and let that dictate that. But we certainly have confidence in the guys that are backups. They can go in and really get it done.
Have you ever coached a linebacker like Jake Golday? And how rare is it to have a guy that big and that fast that can pass
Yeah, I've had some good backers over the time. Yasir Abdul, we had at Louisville, which is an outside linebacker that was playing in the NFL and was a speed. Now he was a straight speed guy, but didn't have the size that Golde has. You know, Golde has speed, but the impressive thing is he does it with a big frame. You know, close to 240 pounds. I felt like he was all over the field on Saturday. You know, you see him dropping off in coverage. You see him coming off the edge and sacking the quarterback. You know, you see him running. Oh man, what an impressive play when they ran the play down our sideline. That he gets out and he's on the other side and walks him down the sideline. Nobody else is going to get him. That's big time impressive because he plays with motor, plays extremely hard, but he also has the speed. You know, so yeah, he's a unique talent. You know, we've been saying it for the last year pretty much that he is, and he's shown it the last 2 weeks. You know, so nothing for him to keep going and keep playing at a high level like he is. It's incredible.
Does it make it more special that he came from somewhere that no one even knows about? Like, he seems like the kind of guy that would be a 5-star recruit. A lot of programs have won, but he was a no-star guy.
Yeah, he could play anywhere in the country. There's no question about that. You know, but he's a guy who, you know, was at Central Arkansas, kind of got under-recruited coming out of high school, developed to his credit, continued to work hard and continued to develop. And since he's been here, he's continued to develop. And really, you know, he was kind of a tight end, DN coming out. And then his last year at Central Arkansas, they moved him to linebacker, and then he came here. So he's still kind of learning the position for us last year. I thought he got better and better as the season went on. And now he just feels really comfortable playing it in multiple positions. What's cool about it is he don't mind walking up and playing at the edge of the defense like he used to play in high school, you know, and pass rushing. And then, but now being able to drop back into coverage, and it's fun. He's fun to watch him play.
So Caldwell had some highlight reel plays.
Mm-hmm.
Does he realize how good he can be? Because he seems like a laid-back guy.
He is. Yeah, I mean, I
does
don't.
he need more of an attitude?
Does he need more of an attitude? I don't know. I mean, he is who he is. You know, he's got, you know, his personality is good. He's fun to talk to. He's fun to be around. He has a lot of talent and his, you know, really high ceiling. I think he's a guy that will continue to get better and better throughout the season. And you know, he's a guy that has all the tools in the world. You think about size, length, can jump, can run, can catch. I feel like he's still learning a lot about how to play wide receiver, how to run routes, how to set yourself up. Again, I think he'll continue to get better and better. But he's certainly a very, very talented player. He's another guy, you know, kind of like Goldie, that was under the radar, that, you know, played at Lindenwood and now he's coming here and playing at the Power 4 level. So I think he could have a really good year for us.
Would you like to play up to 3 quarterbacks in this game?
I mean, I like to play as many guys as we can possibly play, you know, at all positions. You know, again, it's going to, how do our guys come out and play? How hard do they play? How focused are they? How clean a game can we go out and come out and play right from the start? So that'll determine that.
Any other questions for Coach? Thank you, sir.
All right.